Can fasting help you to lose weight and even be good for you? Let's find out. In 2014, almost 2 billion adults worldwide were overweight, and the rates of overweight and obesity are constantly increasing, as is the need for effective dietary interventions. The most common intervention is a calorie-restricted diet, where you eat slightly less than you usually do, so the energy in is less than the energy going out. Calorie restriction does work, but it is often unsustained and the weight lost is put back on. So recently there has been a lot of interest in the use of fasting as a way to lose weight. Intermittent fasting, also known as alternate day fasting, periodic fasting, or intermittent energy restriction, is a relatively new dietary approach to weight loss. It involves interspersing normal caloric intake with short periods of severe calorie restriction or fasting. A fasting method you may have heard of already is the 16-8 rule. So that's basically splitting up the 24-hour day into a period of 8 hours a day where you eat and 16 hours in the day that you fast. So if we were to do it, say 8 a.m. until 4 p.m, I consume all the meals that I need to, and then from 4 p.m. until 8 a.m. the next day, I fast. So the real question is there any evidence that fasting can help with weight loss? There are some studies that suggest that it can. Some studies have suggested that the timing of when you eat and fasting have an impact on our circadian rhythm. Now, this is how the body regulates our daily patterns of behavioral and hormonal functions. For example, our bodies are particularly sensitive to the action of insulin. As the day progresses, we actually become more resistant to insulin, and during sleep, we are the most insulin resistant. So what has been suggested is that you should front load your calories for optimal weight loss and glycemic control or blood sugar control. So this means that you should eat the majority of your energy or your calories in the first half of the day. Let's look at another study. A 2020 systematic review sums up the most recent evidence on using intermittent fasting instead of caloric restriction. The results show that all the groups that tried intermittent fasting lost weight between 0.8% and 13% of their initial weight, and no adverse side effects were reported. So intermittent fasting worked pretty well in that systematic review. And how about alternate day fasting, where one day you eat more than 100% of your requirements and the next day you eat a very small amount, say 25% of what you actually need in the day? A 2017 randomized clinical trial tested whether or not alternate day fasting would produce different results on weight loss and weight maintenance than a daily caloric restriction diet. However, alternate day fasting did not produce better results on weight loss or weight maintenance than normal daily caloric restriction. How about water-only fasting? A recent small-scale study examined the effects that water-only fasting and diet had on visceral adipose tissue, or VAT tissue, which is the most dangerous type of fat to our health. The researchers used a medically supervised water-only fast followed by an exclusively plant-based diet. And the results? All participants lost 20% of their VAT, their visceral adipose tissue. Not only that, when they recommenced the exclusively plant-based diet, they continued to lose the visceral adipose tissue. So what can we learn about fasting from these studies? There is evidence that demonstrates that fasting can be beneficial for weight loss and for overall health. But little is known about the long-term sustainability of fasting, the side effects, and whether or not there is an optimal fasting pattern or a calorie limit. So using a more aggressive approach to weight loss, such as intermittent fasting, might be very useful, but more studies are needed until we can safely recommend this approach. Thank you for listening. My name is Eva, dietitian at Tetragen, and I hope you have a wonderful day.